Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another Supatease video. And you probably already know, but there is a lot of updates constantly ongoing for Dragonflight. But this one particularly got my attention for Hunter, with close to 3 to 4 new abilities coming into the class that are going to have some pretty insane synergies overall and are going to make this class a lot more appealing. I've been seeing a tremendous amount of feedback and response for a plethora of classes so far. As I was just scanning through MMO Champion, it just seems like this is the best time to be giving your feedback if you haven't already. I'm really hoping that they get back to Druid at some point. That's the only one that I've seen that's kind of been somewhat put to the wayside for now. But in today's video, we're covering some of the most recent changes to Hunter and why it's looking even more appealing as a class to pick up moving into Dragonflight, if that is something that you are interested in trying to figure out, because of course it is a big commitment picking a main class for an expansion. If you like this type of news, updates, guides, and entertainment, then make sure you hit the subscribe button, as it's just going to let you know when my videos go live. And I am currently working diligently to be the best resource that I can be for you to enhance your gameplay as I work diligently towards my goal of 100,000 subscribers. So your assistance is greatly appreciated. The first thing that you're going to see right off the rip, we're going to be covering BM, Marksman, and Survival here, is that Aspect of the Wild is going to be a new talent, which is going to then fire off a Cobra shot at your current target and one other nearby enemy for the next 20 seconds. Your Cobra shot will fire one extra target, and your Cobra shot cost will be reduced by 10. So you're going to be getting a massive amount of Cobra shot damage as a result of this Aspect of the Wild change for Beast Mastery. Some of the downsides to this in PvP situations is that, assuming it's going to possibly break crowd control, right? So isolating your target from the freezing trap, if you're going to run this route on your talents, is going to be very important. But maybe there's certain compositions in Dragonflight where you don't even need to land crowd control. You can just focus on pumping out damage. This thing is going to be buffing your damage by a huge amount. As we scroll down through the changes, you're going to see scaling changes like Barbed Shot getting buffed on its damage. All of these number tuning stuff still kind of subject to change. We see Brutal Companion receiving a massive change. Now it's going to be when Barbed Shot causes Frenzy to stack up to 3. Your pet will immediately use its special attack and deal 100% bonus damage. So you can kind of scale up your Barbed Shot stacks and then get this massive burst damage from your pet, which is a lot more interactive than the current iteration of it. I really like that direction. Call of the Wild. You sound the Call of the Wild, summoning 2 of your active pets for 20 seconds. During this time, a random pet from your stable will appear every 4 seconds to assault your target for 6 seconds. This is getting a cooldown reduction from 3 to 2 minutes. Curious to see if this does ultimately see any play, especially in kind of like a PvP environment. We see In for the Kill getting buffed from 5% to 10%. Kill Command has a 10% chance to reset the cooldown of your kill shot and cause your next kill shot to be usable on any target regardless of the target's health. So more focus on trying to get Kill Command into the rotation. I think this is kind of important for PvP, as at the moment you're pretty much just spamming Cobra Shot. Master Handler, a new addition. Each temporary beast summoned reduces the cooldown of Aspect of the Wild. So this could have some heavy synergies with what we just talked about earlier with the other iteration of Aspect of the Wild, just getting a huge amount of pets onto the battlefield, similarly to kind of like a Demonology Warlock. Sharp Barbs, we see buffs to Barb Shot damage by a massive amount. Snake Bite, which is a new one, and this is kind of like what is making Aspect of the Wild such a juicy cooldown here. While Aspect of the Wild is active, Cobra Shot deals 30% increased damage. So it's going to cleave into multiple targets, and it's going to be doing 30% more damage. Now, Stampede, this is an ability that I literally was memeing as I was testing it. It just seems like a big meme as a hunter ability in the baseline talents. It's receiving a change here. Summon a herd of stampeding animals from the wilds around you that deal attack power to your enemies over 12 seconds. Enemies struck by your stampede are snared by 30%. It's still kind of pathetic. And you have 10% increased critical strike chance against them. So now in PvE, where you can guarantee that mobs stand in this, getting 10% crit, when I think to when Beastmaster is the most powerful in Mythic Plus, was the end of Battle for Azeroth, when you had a massive amount of crit stacked up. So this could definitely give you some options for some burst AoE on trash packs and stuff like that. In PvP, 30% is not enough to actually keep anybody in this, and then 10% for that small amount of time to where somebody might get out of it. It's just kind of a wait and see here for me personally. Now when we scroll down, we're going to be getting into the Marksman. We see some buffs to Bullseye. I'm not sure if I'm a really big fan of Bullseye. It's probably going to be a lot better on like execute phases on bosses, or Tyrannical, where bosses are alive a lot longer, where you can kind of stack up crit by attacking mobs that are below 20% health. But it really depends on the pacing of PvP as to how good this is going to be. Deadeye, this is getting a buff. Your kill shot is now going to have 2 charges and has its cooldown reduced by 3 seconds. So you're going to be getting a lot of kill shot damage out of Marksmanship Hunter. Marksmanship is getting a bunch of cool stuff. Originally, I was thinking it's kind of just like, hey, it's just Shadowlands Control C, Control V. And then in this most recent update, it's getting a lot more kind of new or unique stuff towards this expansion. Eagle Talon's True Focus. True Shot lasts an additional 1.5 seconds, reduces the focus cost of Arcane Shot, Chimera Shot, Multi-Shot by 12%, and reduces the focus cost of Aim Shot by 12%. So True Shot's going to be a much more powerful cooldown if it wasn't already. A lot of talent repositioning here. And then the next big one for me was Readiness. And when I saw the name Readiness, I was thinking like, wait a minute. Is that like the original Readiness? It's a little bit different. So Wailing Arrow, the main problem it had that I had with it originally was this is kind of like the casted shot that silences. Now it's going to also reset the cooldown of your rapid fire and generate 2 charges of aimed shot. So if you dump out all of your burst damage, you've run out of focus, you can reload with the Wailing Arrow and then just send all of that damage again. So this is a big improvement, because previously I was struggling to find a position for Wailing Arrow to actually really work because it didn't interact with the rest of the kit of the Hunter class. This talent does a much better job of doing that. Windrunner's Barrage. Wailing Arrow will also fire off 5 wind arrows at your primary target and 10 wind arrows split among any secondary targets hit. So adding even more damage into it. And I think this is a choice node. You have to pick between Windrunner's Barrage and Readiness, if I'm not mistaken. But Readiness is looking a lot more appealing, at least to me personally. At the moment. Now as you scroll down to Survival, you're going to see that Survival is getting some pretty cool new abilities as well. Coordinated Assault is going to now cause the target to bleed for 50% of kill shots damage over 6 seconds. So adding more kind of like sustained damage. One of the big dangers for Survival, I think at the moment, is that you're just so prevalent in the current patch that you're probably likely like you got a target on your back for not being viable. That has happened consistently, where if you're like the top in Mythic Plus at the end of an expansion, you go back down to the bottom of Mythic Plus in the next one, and that's just a trend that I've been seeing for some time. You're getting cooldown reduction towards your kill shot, so more incorporation of kill shot in general for it. And I'm just waiting until we scroll down to the new ability that I saw. You'll see a lot of tuning adjustment for Survival. Maybe potentially you're kind of like on the dangerous side here, because there's big nerfs towards your AoE and your wildfire bombs, specifically at least for PvE. Fury of the Eagle making a return and getting a buff here. It's going to do 50% additional damage to targets below 20% health. So kind of like an execute. It's kind of like a Fist of Fury from a Windwalker monk, if you know what that ability is. Because it doesn't have any kind of like crowd control interactions, I'm not sure how useful it'll be in PvP. When we're scrolling down here, where is the new talent? These are all just kind of like balance changes and stuff. And I'm more specifically looking for, okay, here we go. We're finally getting to it. Arctic Bola. So you remember frozen ammo from Warlords of Draenor was really powerful. This is kind of similar. Basically, your attacks are going to have a chance. Some of your attacks, depending on what you are, Mongoose Bite, Aim Shot, Cobra Shot, for Beast Mastery, Marksman, and Survival, has a chance to fling an Arctic Bola at your target, dealing damage as frost and snaring the target for 20% for 3 seconds. The Arctic Bola can bounce up to 2 times. Curious if this breaks crowd control again. But getting access to kind of like a passively applied slow could definitely be useful in some situations. Unfortunately, it is only 20%, so it's not nearly as powerful as the previous aforementioned frozen ammo, but some interesting talents nonetheless. I think that Marksman, probably the biggest winner here in terms of like new and cool stuff. Like this update has made me want to think like, hey, I really want to try that Wailing Arrow build with Marksman. It's getting a bunch of ways to like reset its burst damage, reposition, blast somebody out of the game. So very curious to check out Marksmanship as a result of these changes. Survival seems like you might want to keep a close eye on it, because if it receives any more nerfs, I'm not sure how competitive it's going to be. And then of course Beast Mastery seems like it's getting a lot of love and attention in terms of its viability with buffs and returning stats that had previously made it powerful. So right now, very excited about Marksman with this update. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave it with a thumbs up and comment down below with your thoughts. And as the alpha progresses into beta and things are more solidified and actually working and not bugged, we're going to get more gameplay onto the channel as well. So make sure you hit the subscribe button to make sure that you're not missing any of that either. But other than that, thank you very much for watching the video, and I will catch you in the next one.